Welcome. If you're looking for how to apply for a Nigerian passport online and are based in the UK, then you have come to the right video. I will show you an example of completing the form from the beginning to the end to where you have to make payment. It's an easy form to fill, but it's quite lengthy, so let's begin. First, we need to access the Nigerian Immigration Service portal. Now I have it in front of me. I am going to select the type of passport. There are two options, standard or official. Standard is what applies to me as a general civil citizen of Nigeria. Officials are more civil servants of Nigeria. And you should know if you're one or the other. I know I am just your regular citizen, so I will select that. As soon as I selected that, I'm asked to choose my processing country, for which is the United Kingdom, because this is where I am applying from. And before we can start our application, we have an anti-fraud prevention message in front of us. Read it properly. It's to do with making payment for your application. So if the name on the bank card you plan to pay with is not the same name as the person on the form, it also goes for if there are more than one of you applying and you don't all have the same family name, then you will be unable to make payment by debit card. It's good you read it properly so you don't get to the payment point after filling in the long form and you cannot go ahead. But there are other payment options available. I will come to that when we have to make payment. I will put all the UK related information below for the OIS services. You can contact them if you're still unsure and find out more. When you're through with that, we can go on to start the application. Now, in order for you to proceed with the application, you need to have an email address associated with either Gmail, OpenID or Yahoo. If you don't have one, open one before you can continue. If you do have one, just click on the relevant one and you will be taken straight to the e-passport form. As I mentioned previously, it's an easy form to fill. As you can see here, just entered my last name, my first name, email, contact number, date of birth, place of birth. In fact, anywhere there is red asterisk, it must be completed. And where there isn't one, we don't have to touch, although the middle name, for instance, does not have asterisks, but you may want to include it in your application. So you can just scan through to make sure you don't miss out any information you want on there. Just remember that if you don't want to put certain information down and the place does not have asterisks, then you do not have to put that information down. I am satisfied with my information here, so I'm just going to click next and on to step 2. Here is just a longer version of what we did in step 1. I will fill in the other parts, so add my title, add booklet type, my permanent address in Nigeria. Here you do not need to own a place, you can use a trusted family member's address. I put my family home address, no correspondence will be sent to that address anyway. Everything is pretty much done online. You get your confirmation, notification to your email, and any other information you can get from the Nigerian immigration website. Plus, you will be asked for your current address, which is what I am filling in now. Then on to other information where I will focus on completing all the areas marked in asterisks. You can see the special feature there which is not marked in asterisks, but if you wanted to complete it, it's talking more about if you have a distinct features, maybe you have like green eyes, or like me, have tribal marks, or if you have nothing, then you can put none. But as I said, it's not compulsory, so I won't fill that section. Your next of kin needs to be Nigeria based, as you will be asked for their address below. I will fill in their contact number before moving on. Don't know if you noticed, but I forgot to fill my relationship with them. It will ask me later on, as we shall see, as I will not be able to proceed otherwise. In the personal information section, all the boxes are important, so I will fill them in. You will need your correct height measurement in centimeters. I put a random number in and it got rejected. There was me trying to outsmart them and it got rejected. Good to see there's some sort of progress with Nigeria. On to next of kin address, and as I mentioned before, you need their Nigeria address. I have put London as a city here, as I'm just making it up as I go, but it should be a city in Nigeria. Once you're done, select your processing country, select your processing embassy. I don't have a choice here, it's just London. Accept their terms and click on submit application. I mentioned earlier that I forgot to fill my relationship with next of kin, which was compulsory. The form has been returned back to me. So I would just complete that and then go back down, accept my terms and click on submit application. So that's gone through and I now have my application ID and reference number. You would need to sign and date the form, hence you need to print the form. If you don't have an immediate access to print, then you can always log back in the same way we logged in the beginning with your email ID, and then go and click on your name at the top right hand of the screen and select your card. Then you can click on the print button next to your application. After the click to print screen, we can continue application and then proceed to checkout. At the checkout, we can continue to either make payment or start another application. You can also add other application as the box is provided for you to do so, but let's proceed to payment. By the way, at this point, you should have had an email in your inbox by now to say your application has gone through, but no payment has been made yet. Now onto the payment section, a disclaimer is shown. Read it carefully and click to acknowledge that you've read it. When we scroll down, we have 3 payment options. You can choose to pay either by MasterCard or Visa. Go ahead and choose any of them if you have those cards and the card is registered in your name. Just enter your details and follow the process as shown on screen. But if, for instance, you don't have any of those, which is rare, or maybe you want to make payment on behalf of someone, or you are a family with different surnames, so you've got a couple of applications on, but you have different surnames, then there are a few options for you. The first is you can register the bank card just by clicking on the Manage Credit Card here at the top of the page, and then select Register Your Bank Card. Just make sure you read the guidelines and go on to register. I believe once it's approved, you can make payments. Another way is to select point of sale from the 3 payment options. This means you will have to go to the OIS office in London Farringdon to make payment. I suggest you go with proof. For example, I applied for my baby's passports whose surnames are different from mine, and I just visited the office and made a payment really easily and successfully. Now, if you have 2 or more applications in your cart and you have different surnames, then when you click to make a payment, you will automatically be redirected to the card registration section, and there you can continue to register your card. And it's upon payment receipt that you will get a passport appointment date. If you're unsure, get in touch with OIS. I have added the information below. If you're interested in an insight to what to expect after the online application, I've also added a link to my website below. That's all you need to complete the application. If this was helpful, please click on the like button. Thank you.